So I just finished up my brew day with the Rauchbier. Rauchbier. I have about a quarter of a gallon left over, and I'm gonna try and do something with it. So right now I'm gonna put it into a San Fernando Brewing growler, sanitized of course. And then tomorrow morning, I think I'm gonna try and boil it for like 15 minutes or so, maybe less, 10 minutes. There's already hops in it. And then maybe throw some Brett in there and have a little micro Brett beer. The phenols from the smoke might work well with it. I tried to explore phenols, smoke phenols with Brett phenols one time, and it didn't work, or I botched it, I can't remember. Either way, it wasn't memorable. If I get like 3 or 4 beers out of it, cool. If it sucks and turns out horrible and nothing happens, it's 3 or 4 beers worth of beer. The smallest funnel I have is a sour funnel. I'm going to use it because I'm going to turn this into a Brett beer anyway. So that's a full growler's worth right there. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator so it doesn't get bacteria in it and start eating on its own or turn wild and all that crap. The gravity on this is about 1040-ish, because half of it is 1015 and the other half is 1046. So should I take a gravity reading? I should. I'll be right back. 1033. So after a boil, it'll probably be about 1040 or less. So I'll have a little micro Session Brett beer. It's cold and rainy out, but I'm dedicated to the craft. By cold, I mean like 50 degrees, maybe a little warmer. I got my lucky PJs on. I got fermentation on my Rauchbier. I got this Brett beer. This is the hoppy Brett wit beer. I'm going to take a little bit of this and put it into that growler of leftover Rauchbier that I had lying around. There are 2 strains of Brett in this. One's bottle dregs from WLP 653, and the other one was just a straight up WLP 650 pitch Brett Bruxlensis from White Labs. And I'm going to put it into the finished little boil I'm going to do and have probably 3 or 4 beers out of it, out of some leftover wort that I had. This has actually had a lot of weird sours in it. Bottle dregs. I've tested all sorts of crap in this, lacto, pediococcus, so if something else gets in there, all the better. Try to get some of the yeast that's on the bottom too, just for good measure, but that should be enough for the small amount I'm doing. Honestly, this would probably be enough for even a 5-gallon batch. It might take a while to start, but it will get there. It's vital to keep everything separate. This is separate. I've used this for Brett and weird sours and all sorts of stuff. And this is nothing to do with my other clean equipment. I do drip Brett and sour beer all over this chest freezer, but so far no contamination, but the rest of it needs to be completely separated. The great thing about this is that it's ready to go. There's hops in it. It has a gravity of 1033 if I recall, or in that ballpark at least. So I just gotta boil it for about 10 minutes. And yeah, just cool it down and pitch this here, this little bit of Brett I have, and see what happens. The idea behind it again is would the Brett enhance the smoke flavor a little bit? Or nothing happen, or it tastes gross or weird, but it's such a little amount, it's so fun to play with. I love it. Smoky. Got a really good roast going right now. Just finished. Vegetables pulled out, that's pulled out. Sarah's cooking something. It smells amazing. I'm in her way, and she's, bless her heart, has given me a second to film this. The ice bath. So that was about a 10-minute boil, a little over, maybe 11-minute boil, 12-minute. I'm not gonna take a gravity reading. It's such a small little experiment that this is just for fun to kind of see what Brett does with the smoke flavor. So yeah, it's cooling down right now, and yeah, it should be done in about 5-10 minutes. Put it back in the growler, pitch the little Brett I have, put an airlock on it, and it should be good to go. I got a meat thermometer here, so it's not super accurate with wort. However, I'm sure it's good enough here. Some fermentation going on here. It actually started yesterday, and hopefully it's the Brett eating. I'll give a little bit of a taste in a couple weeks and see how it is. Today is February 23rd. A few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I took a little over a quarter of a gallon of a runoff from the Rauchbier, and I threw Brett into it. And it is time to bottle that today. Unfortunately, my actual Rauchbier got contaminated, but so far no contamination. So, oh, here it is actually. There it is. Yeah, unfortunately I can't even salvage it. It tastes like nail polish remover. So, if it was sour, just a clean lactic acid taste, I'd just go with it, but I can't. It's okay, it's 1 gallon. That's largely why I do 1 gallon batches right there. That and various other reasons. Alright, well that was 3 bottles. And this half bottle here. Ta-da! It's been a little over 2 weeks since I bottled this, and unfortunately, as I said, the original Rauchbier, the full 1 gallon batch I was doing, got contaminated, which is still there. I haven't thrown it away yet. I should, because it's unusable. Yeah, but this is the one I poured out into a growler and threw some Brett in there, and here we are. Don't think I said this in the beginning of the video, and I probably should have. The recipe for this, or the original recipe for this, was 73% two-row, 13% melanoidin malt, 8% acid malt because my water's really hard, 2.5% English malt, 1% Carafa 3, and 1% special beet, or somewhere in those rough percentages. SRM is supposed to be about 15. This is obviously going to be lighter than 15 because this was half of a runoff. So it's probably closer to like 10 or 9 or something in that range. And the original IBUs was 25. And Perle hops are the hops they used for that. But this is probably closer to like 15 IBUs or somewhere in that range. And the alcohol is going to be lower. I think the original gravity was 1033 for this. So I doubt it's more than 3%. You know, it's probably 2.7, 3% in that range. Very meaty on the smell. That bread's coming through, but it's more on the Band-Aidy side. I'm getting that smoke still too from the Rauchbier, or from the original recipe. I think the smoke on this is perfect for a Rauchbier. With Brett, it is a little clashing. I thought maybe the Brett strain would enhance it a bit, and but it's not as much. So I think that the smoke phenols and the Brett phenols, there is just so much going on that it doesn't really work that well. Taste is good. It's a little on the clovey side, I'd say. But still, yeah, a little bit harsh, you know, a little medicinal. Yeah, that Brett flavor doesn't quite work with this. It's a fun experiment. I only have 3 bottles of it. I'll probably dump the rest of them I have, or maybe I'll keep one for like 3-4 months and try again. And then it'd be interesting to see maybe like 100% fermentation, but like I did, but with like more like a Clausenii or some other strains that might be less harsh on that barnyard or phenols. Like I said, if this was just a Rauchbier, the one I was intending to make, I bet it would be really good. That smoke levels are spot on. The bitterness level is fine. You know, I mean, this isn't really a style that I made, so the bitterness level could be anything. There really isn't much else to say on it. I don't know that anyone should try this unless, again, like you're going to use some other strains. The experiment was just to play with some phenols, and kind of a failure in that, but it's all good. And you know, I'll keep trying things like this. You know, maybe do some more runoffs and have 3 or 4 bottles of weird stuff and fruit and weird yeast, and you know, I have a ton of rosemary and other herbs and stuff I might throw in some beer and make group beer. So yeah, until next time, happy brewing.